It was a serene morning in Willow Creek, the kind that felt like a perfect escape from the world. Sunlight filtered through ancient oak trees, casting golden patterns on the jogging path where Amara Ellis ran at a steady pace. Her breathing was even, her focus sharp, the soft hum of a podcast playing through her earbuds. This was her daily ritual, a moment of peace before she stepped into her demanding role as director of the State Ethics Commission. Amara had spent years exposing corruption, holding powerful figures accountable, and making enemies in the process. But here, on this quiet path, she was just another resident starting her day. A slow-moving patrol car broke the tranquility. Officer Caleb Monroe gripped the wheel, his jaw tight as he watched Amara run. Something about a black woman jogging alone in this predominantly white, upscale neighborhood rubbed him the wrong way. Willow Creek was a place of order, where people belonged, and in Caleb's mind, Amara didn't. His father, a former sheriff, had instilled rigid ideas about who fit in and who didn't. Years on the force had only deepened those biases. His grip tightened as he made a snap decision. He flicked on the car's lights and pulled ahead, blocking her path. Amara slowed, one eyebrow raised in confusion as she removed an earbud. Caleb stepped out, his posture stiff, his voice sharp. "Hey, what are you doing here?" Amara blinked, caught off guard by his tone. She gestured to her running shoes and the water bottle strapped to her waist. "I'm jogging," she said calmly. Caleb crossed his arms, eyeing her skeptically. "We've had reports of suspicious activity in the area. You match the description." Amara exhaled slowly, a familiar frustration settling in her chest. It wasn't the first time she'd been questioned for simply existing. "I live here," she said, standing her ground. "I run this path every morning." Caleb scoffed. "Is that so?" He stepped closer, his stance rigid. "Then you won't mind showing me some ID." Amara crossed her arms, keeping her voice steady. "I don't carry ID when I jog. It's at home." Caleb chuckled, shaking his head. "How convenient," he muttered, his hand hovering near his belt, a subtle flex of authority. "No ID, no proof. You expect me to just take your word for it?" Amara's patience thinned. "I expect you to use common sense," she said firmly. "I'm not breaking any laws." A few morning walkers slowed, sensing the tension. Some pulled out their phones, quietly recording. Caleb noticed, but didn't back down. He'd patrolled this beat for years and knew how to control a situation. He puffed out his chest. "Look, lady, you can either cooperate, or we'll take this downtown. Your choice." Amara met his gaze, unflinching. "You're making a mistake," she said, her voice calm but edged with warning. Caleb smirked, misreading her composure as defiance. "Is that a threat?" he shot back. "It's advice," she replied evenly. Caleb's patience snapped. His hand shot out, grabbing her arm roughly. "Turn around. Hands behind your back." A gasp rippled through the small crowd. Someone called out. She didn't do anything. But Caleb wasn't listening. His grip tightened, his jaw clenched. In his mind, this was just another person who needed to be put in their place. He had no idea who he was dealing with. Amara's body tensed as Caleb's grip tightened. His cold, dismissive stare sent a chill through her, but she'd faced worse. She'd stared down corrupt officials, navigated high-stakes investigations, and never flinched. But this was different, a man with a badge who thought that was enough to justify his actions. "You're acting suspicious," Caleb said, his voice dripping with accusation. "You match the description of someone reported in the area." Amara took a slow breath, forcing herself to stay calm. "I suggest you think carefully about what you're doing," she said. "You're making a mistake." Caleb scoffed. He'd heard those words before, always from people he thought were trying to outsmart him. "Oh yeah," he snapped, yanking her arm harder. "Is that a threat?" She didn't answer, just stood there, steady and unafraid. That infuriated him. "Turn around. Hands behind your back," he ordered. Amara resisted instinctively, pulling her arm free, a small, reflexive move. To Caleb, it was defiance. Without hesitation, he swung his fist. The impact was sudden, a sharp jolt of pain through her jaw. The crowd gasped. Someone screamed. Phones shot up, capturing everything. Amara stumbled but stayed on her feet, blinking through the pain. She tasted blood, but her anger simmered quietly. She refused to let it show. Caleb, breathing hard, grabbed her again, twisting her arms behind her back. The handcuffs bit into her wrists as he yanked them tight. "You're under arrest for resisting," he snapped. The crowd erupted. "She didn't do anything," someone shouted. "You hit her for no reason. We got it on video." Caleb ignored them, shoving Amara toward his patrol car. His pulse pounded. He told himself he was doing his job, maintaining control, doing what was right. But as he reached the car and opened the door, he felt the weight of the crowd's eyes judging, disbelieving, furious. Amara didn't fight as he pushed her inside. She didn't argue or struggle. Instead, she looked at him through the window, her expression unreadable. Before he shut the door, she spoke softly, her words cutting through the noise. "You'll regret this." Caleb hesitated for a split second, then slammed the door, locking her inside. He turned to the crowd, barking orders to move along, to stop recording. No one listened. The damage was done, the video was spreading, and Caleb Monroe had no idea his world was about to collapse. At the station, Caleb strode in with his chest puffed out, the familiar rush of control fueling him. Another suspect, another arrest. He barely glanced at Amara as he led her through the doors, ignoring the curious looks from fellow officers. He tossed her paperwork onto the front desk like a trophy. "One for trespassing and resisting arrest," he announced loudly. She got combative. Amara sat calmly in the holding area, her face unreadable, her posture relaxed despite the bruise forming on her jaw. She didn't need to speak, the truth was catching up. Before Caleb could revel further, the station doors burst open. A sharp voice sliced through the room. "Monroe." The room fell silent as Chief Inspector Tara Langston stormed in. Her presence commanded instant respect. Every officer straightened instinctively. Tara was known for her no-nonsense approach, and right now, she was furious. Caleb turned, his smirk lingering. "Chief, I was just handling." "Save it." Tara snapped, marching toward him. She slammed a tablet onto the desk. On the screen, the video of Amara's arrest played clear, damning. The crowd's outraged voices echoed. "She didn't do anything. We got it on video." And then, the moment that sealed his fate, Caleb's fist striking her. Caleb's face drained of color. His mouth opened, but no words came. Tara's eyes burned into him. "Trespassing? Resisting arrest?" she said coldly. "Do you even know who you just put your hands on?" Caleb's mind scrambled, his pulse racing. He glanced at Amara, who watched him with calm, knowing eyes. Tara didn't wait for an answer. She turned to the other officers, her voice thick with disgust. "This is Amara Ellis, director of the State Ethics Commission. Your superior's superior." The station was deathly quiet. Caleb's throat went dry. His mind reeled, no, this couldn't be real. A mistake, a misunderstanding. But Amara spoke, her voice steady and piercing. "I warned you this would catch up with you." Tara shook her head in disappointment. "Your reckless, disgraceful behavior has humiliated this department. Effective immediately, you're suspended pending a full investigation." Caleb's heart pounded. He opened his mouth to argue, but nothing came out. The other officers murmured, exchanging glances. He felt their judgment, their shock, their realization that he wasn't just in trouble, his career was crumbling in real time. The weight of Tara's words settled over the station like a storm cloud. Caleb stood frozen, his mind racing for an escape, but there was none. The video, the witnesses, the truth, it was all there, undeniable. Tara turned to the officers, her voice unwavering. "Let this be a lesson. We're here to serve and protect, not abuse power. Officer Monroe is suspended, effective immediately, pending a full investigation. This won't be swept under the rug." A murmur spread through the station. Some officers exchanged uneasy glances, others shifted uncomfortably. This wasn't just about Caleb anymore. His suspension had cracked open a door many had ignored for too long. Within minutes, his personnel file was pulled up, revealing a troubling history: complaints of excessive force, racial profiling, aggressive conduct. Some officers shook their heads in disbelief. Others nodded in quiet recognition. They'd known, they'd seen it, and now there was no hiding. Amara, still composed, stood and looked at them. "This isn't just about one officer," she said evenly. "This is about a system that lets this keep happening. Change isn't optional, Anna Marie, it's necessary." Outside, a crowd waited for her. As she stepped through the station doors, cheers erupted. People raised their phones, their voices, their support. Amara didn't linger in the moment she had work to do. Inside, Caleb slumped onto a bench in the break room, staring at the floor. The authority he'd clung to was Ganino badge. No power, no control. Just the cold realization that he'd destroyed himself. Amara Ellis's journey wasn't just one woman's triumph, it was a step toward exposing a broken system. One bad decision, one misguided belief, one act of abuse cost Caleb Monroe everything. But the real question lingers. How many more officers like him are out there? How many more Amaras face this injustice daily, just for not fitting someone's idea of who belongs? This isn't just a story, it's a reality that plays out too often. The truth always finds a way out, and those who think power will protect them eventually learn that real strength lies in justice and accountability. Amara set an example, but true change comes when people demand a system that treats everyone with fairness and dignity.